Hi, this is my art room and I'm going to give you a tour. So I'm really lucky and I have a really huge art classroom, which you can see. Trying to kind of give you the quick panorama here. And we'll just start immediately to the door when my students come in. I have a little table right here, and this is usually where I'll have that class's artwork. You can see I've got some storage there ready to go. Over here is my projector, and you see a grid system. So if we walk over that way, you can see that I have the what am I learning today, what am I going to do today to learn, what will I do to measure my level of mastery, and that's required by my school, and these are my classes. And then you can see here's my awesome smart board that I play with. I have a little poster here that some of my longtime blog followers remember. It's always controversial that I say no to some things, but we're in middle school and I'm trying to expand our schema a little bit. This is my open supply area where students are able to go and get things as they need. It's sort of restricted right now. I'll add to it as the year goes on. Up here I have a little area with books for students to look at if they ever finish early. I have the Cadillac of drying racks. I feel very, very lucky about that. And you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 art tables. I only had 8 last year, but I teach on average about 35 to 45 students. So I like to have room for everybody to do big work. I like to work very, very large. This is a new addition this year. I use the poster maker to print out just some basic outlines of facial compositions. I find sometimes students just really struggle with that, and we go over it a lot. But it's very helpful to have a nice few little examples to look at. I also have 2 computer stations, and I also have 1 classroom iPad. We use those a lot. We also have a lot of computer labs in my school, and I take advantage of those. We probably go to the computer lab at least 3 out of the 9 weeks that I have students. I have another little bulletin board. I love my Cubist superheroes. We did a Cubist project inspired by some artists, and they sent those to us. It was kind of cool. Over here I have my cabinets. This is actually where I store a lot of the artwork. I put it on that table when students first come in when they're in here, and then they go back in these cabinets when they're not here. This is also where a lot of our Common Core vocabulary is, so we can kind of reference these when we use them in class. Going along my back wall, you see my flammable cabinet for all of my flammable materials. I also have a press, 2 types, a heat press and then a rolling press. That rolling press I think is from the 60s and it will take your arm off, so we have to be really careful. One of my sink stations. And hanging right here is a poster with all of my award-winning artists from last year, and so I always hang up the year previous posters so that everyone can kind of be inspired by that and still see your names. I keep my tempera paints out over here. I buy soap for the kids. See my back wall. And this is where our standards are. I'm missing my art equals, but art equals art history plus aesthetics plus product plus criticism. We call that the constructivist model today. Some of you may call it DBAE. It's a little outdated, but it still works. And then I have my standards, and I have little arrows that point to what we're doing. Over here to the left, these are the Common Core writing standards, and we also use those. I usually just have paper out here for the students to use. So this might be, we're getting ready to do a project. When they need their big paper, they can just go get it. You have my paint bar back here that I've put some oilcloth down so that we can just spill and not have to worry about it. My second sink station is where I keep brushes, water cups, paint palettes, and then also we have a lot of plexi that students use to mix paint. Back here's my paper cutter. I use it so often that I keep it out, but you can see how it's turned where the swing blade arm is up against the wall. That makes it a lot more difficult for students to get to. So typically, if a student's gonna mess with that, I have a lot of time to see that get ready to happen. I have 2 wall-mounted sharpeners. One is right here. This is the door to my kiln room, and this is the door to my supply closet. We're not going to go in there because it is a hot mess in there right now, and I would look really, really bad. So we're not going to go in. Again, my Cadillac drawing rack, my general supply. This is a swing door to go to a dark room, but I actually don't have a dark room, so I just hang posters on it and do a lot of fun stuff. And then my second pencil sharpener is right there above my, or excuse me, under my rules and consequences. And then getting back to my desk. And I love this little L shape because I can do, I do presentations and examples right here with the document camera. And I have it flipped so it's mirrored for the students up here on the screen so that my right hand is their right hand, my left hand is their left hand. And I'm looking at them while I do it. It's really nice. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. I think that's my room. And so I'm a Title I environment. We're traditionally underfunded. We have a lot of students. 45 in a class is not ideal. But as you can see, I do at least have one of the nicest art rooms you've probably ever seen. So thanks so much for visiting, and I hope your year is off to a good start. Mine is. Take care.